So, this week we're going to discuss our word study. By this time in the class, you guys should know your passage, you should know the literary genre that your passage is in, and the wider context that it's a part of. So, what you guys want to do at this point is start locating 3 to 4 words that show significance to your passage. And the best way to do that is to become familiar with your passage. And you and I could only do that by reading our passage over and over again. And the best thing to do is to read your passage in 3 to 4 different versions, especially since you guys don't have a command of the Greek language, so you can't read it in its original writings. Um, so when you read the passage in different interpretations, really that's what you're getting when you're reading it in different contexts. Right here, I'm showing it a passage in Matthew 16. Let's say you had Matthew 16, 24 to 28. I have it in the King James Version. That's a good way to start. And if you're wondering what resource I'm using, it's called the Blue Letter Bible. I encourage you guys to use this resource in doing your word study. And then see, I can click here and I can read it in the Revised Standard Version. Um, and then when I'm done reading the Revised Standard Version, I can read it in the New Living Translation. And as I'm reading the New Living Translation, I could read it in the New Revised or NASB, which I like the NASB because it's a very literal translation. And so what you see is I'm looking at this passage, I see a few things stand out. If I just wanted to key in on Matthew 16:25, I see this idea of saving life and losing life seems to be of great significance here. And then it continues in 16:26, if he gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul. And so a couple things I'd want to look at if I was doing this passage is, well, what does it mean to save his life? And what does it mean to lose one's life? And if you lose your life, well, what do you find? What do these words mean? You have find, you have save, and you have life and loss. So what does save mean and what does loss mean? How do you compare and contrast that? What is Jesus trying to convey here? And so that's one thing you want to look for. There's about 4 different ways you guys can find keywords. And one of them is just reading a passage like I did in a few different versions and seeing a few words that stand out. Another thing is see something that is repeated as this idea of life being lost and found. That's something that's repeated here. Another thing is to look for images or word pictures, words that are figures of speech. And one of a good passage of that is in John 10, verse 9, Jesus says, I am the gate. What does he mean by gate? What does that passage mean? How do we do that? And the other thing you want to look for is words that are puzzling to you, words that are confusing or that you don't quite understand. Because if it's difficult to you, it's difficult to others. And so those are words you want to key in on because without understanding those words, you're probably going to struggle to understand what the passage means. And so the whole goal of doing a word study is to help us understand the significance of what's being said and how we can apply that to our own life. And so let's say you want to look up this word save your life. So you click here on this box tool and you would go down and hit dictionaries. And a bunch of dictionaries come up and maybe you look at that. The best thing you'd want to do is Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words. That's a good place to start. And so you can click that right there and it shows several different things and it has that right there, live. Now, if you see something that's not helpful to you, then the best thing to do is just hit the back button and go back. And if that's not helpful, go back to the interlinear. Now, if you don't know what an interlinear is, basically what it does in the passage you're looking at is it breaks down each word. So see how it has for whoever wishes, and then it shows something here strong. Strong's is a concordance that helps you better understand the Bible and its words and understanding the what the words mean. And so everything you're going to have will have that right there. And then right here it shows you the Greek word gar, which is the word for, and then hos right here's right next to it, whoever. And so you're going to say these things here, and then the word sozo right here in the Greek is the word to save. And so you can click on these words and it will give you a greater meaning. And so it shows you all the times this word is used in the Bible, the Greek and Hebrew. And that's just good if you want to see how this word is used in other passages. That will also help you understand what this word means. But then the next thing to do is to go to a lexicon. Lexicons are dictionaries. And so what I want you guys to do is stay within the New Testament because that's what you're looking at. But then you see sozo. That is the word right here. And you can just click on the Strong's Concordance right there. definition, and it shows it coming up here. You can click the entry in Vine's expository dictionary, which will give you an understanding of the word. And then right here, you have different Strong's definitions, and then Thayer's Greek lexicon. Between these three resources, you should get a good sense of what the word is. So the first thing you want to do once you've narrowed your words down is find the range of meaning, which you see right here in the outline of its biblical usage. It means to save, keep, safe, and sound. You see the same thing if you were to hit Vines. You hit the view entry. It shows right here. It's like how the things it can be translated to heal. Sometimes it can be used in recovery or save or saving. And so that just gives you a good sense of the range of meaning. And so once you've found the word's range of meaning, the next thing you want to do is figure out which meaning fits the context that you have. And so looking at the Strong's definition shows you the range of meaning and shows you what the word comes from. And then looking at something like the Thayer's lexicon will give you a context and more in depth. So it shows the different ways the word's meant. And so basically what you want to do is kind of sift through all this information and figure out in your context, well, what does it mean to save? What is one being saved from? And then look at the other words in this passage that are helpful for you. So you want to go back a few and look up another word. So you want to look up maybe "will lose." What does it mean to lose? And so you want to compare and contrast these two words, and it shows the breakdown of it. So you want to go to lexicon and do the same thing over again and go right back to in the New Testament, and you see the different. This is the word that was used in your passage, and so you click on that, and it shows you the different meanings of this word: to perish, destroy. In our passage, it was used to be lost, but knowing that it also connotates perishing and destroying, well, Jesus is talking about in the next passage, what is the point of gaining the whole world if you forfeit your soul? So maybe perish or destroy is the stronger connotation is what he's trying to get at there. And so he's repeating it again in the next verse so that it's not lost. This idea of losing one's life. He's talking about this eternal loss of life. And so I hope those are helpful for you guys and a quick tool guide on how to do a word study. If you have any questions, just shoot us emails. We can Zoom conference to discuss more on how do you do a word study. But I just wanted to give you guys the basics in this short little video here.